So I want to go ahead and make a video where I'm just talking whatever comes to my mind. It's like, what train of thought will I embark on if I'm just given a video and room to talk? Um, I'm thinking, why not just do it? Life can end at any single moment, and I have nobody really to talk to, so might as well just talk to the video and have fun with it. You know, wax philosophical, or focus on things musically related. You know, I like to talk about religion, I like to talk about death, the two things you're not supposed to talk about in polite conversation, and yet they're the two things that fascinate me the most. I mean, why wouldn't they? They're the two things that people can find themselves so divided on, between each other. Differences in opinion when it comes to religion or politics can, divide families now. I mean, they could divide families before, at least when it came to religion, but now politics has even reached that same level. It's interesting because it was always supposed to be a matter of debate, but now it's just a matter of hardcore belief. People will follow Biden and swear there's nothing wrong with him, or people will follow Trump and swear there's nothing wrong with him. They're both wrong. Both Trump and Biden are slimy politicians. And Trump just began being a politician, and he's already a slimy politician, but that was because he was already a slimy businessman. He's failed at it more times than he can count, and yet he tries to keep selling himself as a successful businessman. It's like hilarious. Meanwhile, you have people who will, support Trump and then attack Biden on every single possible corrupt thing that he's doing. This whole thing with Hunter Biden in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Trump has several of his own family members who are benefiting from him being in the White House, and yet, the only one we're focusing on here is Biden and his son. I mean, sure, Biden and his son may be involved in corrupt business dealings. Okay, fine, throw them in jail, but then you're gonna have to throw Trump in jail too. So it's you can't have a double standard. One if one of these two politicians is found to be corrupt, but the other one's doing something pretty much identical, then you have to hold them both to the same standard, or else you're just being hypocritical and selective in how you apply your reasoning. But I doubt a Trump supporter would ever see it that way. And then you have religion, the thing that I would talk about all the time when I wasn't supposed to. I had a channel here before that nobody watched. I mean, who am I kidding? No one's gonna watch this. But I had a channel here before where it was supposed to be this thing about philosophical arguments, and like that was in a time where I went out of my way to argue with people with regard to God and the existence of God. Now I don't do that anymore. It's because people are gonna believe what they're gonna believe, and I really have no interest in changing anyone's opinions on anything. If I'm ever gonna debate anything about religion, it would be for the sole purpose of explaining why I don't believe. Like, if I'm approached with, how could you not believe? I'll explain why. Or, I still remember when I debated someone on here on I think it was like a Google Hangout sort of live debate where we were talking about the presuppositional argument, and, I eventually got to the point where I was like, well, you're trying to tell me that I can't reason without without God. He's essential for reasoning, and yet because he was talking about the presuppositional argument and how if you is my I use in the place of I have to watch that. Anyways, you 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 accept hard solipsism and then reject it so that you can input God as the one thing that can solve it, even though in order to do that you have to sort of break the rule. You have to say, oh, you can't know anything outside of yourself. Oh, but except you can with God, and it actually solves hard solipsism, even though we just ignored all of the things that go into accepting hard solipsism at the outset. So, I don't know. Like, I can get back into that really easily, but I feel like it's not a wise road to travel down because it's just endless argument. You're never going to convince anybody of anything. So I would only want to stick to just proving to someone, why my reasoning for not believing is sound. So, um, so those are the sort of things that I like to talk about. But I'll also talk about anything in between. Like current events or something that's really, you know, head trippy. I like really trippy, high concept like discussions. If you're talking about something that makes me like question reality, then I'm interested. Or if we're just talking about like some like I'll be honest, I do like to dabble in gossip, even if it's just to talk crap about something that really at the end of the day is kind of pointless because I'll be honest, it's fun. So yeah, this channel is going to be a mess. I'm not good at editing. I don't know the first thing about editing these videos. My videos from before were, a complete mess. Like I'm wearing a shirt like a collared shirt this time, so that I at least look presentable to some degree. But before I was just using t-shirts because I kind of didn't really think about the fact that this could be visible to anyone and everyone on this website. And I have no idea what the rules for monetization or, getting strikes. I have no idea what the rules. I mean, I have a vague idea of what the rules are. Cursing can get you demonetized. Talking about certain subjects can get you demonetized. There's the whole pandemic. So I imagine that's one of those touchy subjects. I know that there's been like right wing media personalities like Alex Jones that have essentially been nixed off of this website. Um, I don't know if that was such a good move because even though he says crazy things and he talks about like blood libel, which is essentially the thing to say when you're trying to be anti-Semitic, it's a weird line that you have to kind of thread there because on the one hand you don't want to support hate speech, but on the other hand you don't want to suppress free speech, and knowing where one sort of shifts into the other, where do you cross the line between those two? It's not as obvious and clear cut as you might think at the beginning. But yeah, so I'm just here to talk about anything and everything, and these videos are going to be really raw because I have no idea how to edit, but I'm going to try to keep it as, watchable as possible, even without the edits, until I figure out how that's done. You know, cut out all the parts where I say as my And yeah, I'll probably post like Tuesdays and Wednesdays because those are my days off right now. So, might as well. This is going to be like the one random video that I might post today, which is not Tuesday or Wednesday because it's just me trying this out. This channel, this version of me trying to do YouTube is going to be more real than the last one. I tried to talk so much about these philosophical concepts that I didn't have a complete grasp of at the time, and I was very inexperienced. I was younger, as if I know so much more now. But I don't know. My attitude has changed we're living through horrible times. I've gotten myself a job once again. Really complicated situation there. But yeah, uh, this will be the first video, and I'm gonna have to think about what I want to do first. It's gonna be just whatever I want, really. I just need to pick a topic and go for it. And anyone who watches this, um, I'm probably going to end up asking people what they want to talk about, and I'll just head into it. Probably one of the first things I would love to talk about is just, ironically, the idea of non-existence, non-being, just the void, because I feel like so much focus is placed on, like, the light, you have religion and in general, like, kind of uplifting speech, and then you have, like, things like doom metal, funeral doom metal, which I love. I'm right now kind of obsessed with, like, bands like Esoteric and Evoken, that they revel in the dark. And not just like dark in that really open, vague cliche way, but like putting yourself in that headspace to understand and sort of grapple with and accept a state of being which makes us as human beings just completely uncomfortable. Something I've thought about a lot recently. Just like, as an atheist, I don't believe in an afterlife. So for me, when the end comes, I face, at the end of my life, the very real prospect of just non-existence. And to go from worrying about life, eating, enjoying, sleeping, um, um, feelings of ecstasy versus feelings of despair, learning, being humbled, all of these things that happen in life, being in love, being desperate, being angry, caring about things, thinking about things, dreaming about things, for all of that to one day cease to be, and that you, yourself, as a person, just ceasing to be. It's, for a religious person, that is probably a nonsensical, idea. But I imagine if they were to entertain it, it would probably for them it would also be a terrifying concept. And I feel like for me, I wouldn't say it's terrifying, but it's hard to grapple with, because you never feel like you're ready. You're like, who would ever feel like they're ready to not exist? And I feel like the reason why you feel like that is because you probably have things that you still want to do, that you still want to experience, and so you're not ready to no longer have the chance to do that. And so those are the sort of things that interest me, and so that serves as like a nice taste of what kind of video content you can expect from this channel. And I say this to the person who probably does not exist, the person who will not be watching this channel, because I doubt anyone will. And I'm going to say that at the outset. This is really just for me to think out loud, just kind of make my way through deep concepts or random subjects that have me thinking. And when I have maybe a thought that I don't want to just let escape into the ether, just lose, I can put it here. And so I'm going to stop this video before it becomes way too long, because I was planning to have it be 10 minutes, but now it's 15 minutes. Hopefully I can cut it down with some sort of editing tool. And so to anyone who's watching this channel, I have chosen S voids of the Divine Chaos because I thought, why not go for something really ridiculous? But it does kind of work with some of the concepts that I've been thinking of lately. So it might work. I might change it later on, but it's random enough that I can use it as a very unique identifier. And yep, that's it for this video. I'm going to stop it before I keep rambling on, even though that's going to be the kind of the point of this channel.